The word globalization has been frequently heard since around the year 2000. It was something of a buzzword, a concept that promised a borderless world where people could move freely, economies would be interconnected, and diversity would thrive. But whether that ideal has truly become a reality is still a matter of debate. It has now been 24 years since I came to the UK. Over that time, the number of immigrants has steadily increased. 20 years ago, only about 1 in 10 houses in my neighborhood belonged to an immigrant family. Now, it's closer to 3 out of 10. Walking down the street, I hear a variety of languages, and I see signs and advertisements in multiple languages. Interestingly, in London, it is said that Indians now own more properties than the British. The first-generation Indian immigrants, who thrived in the IT sector, have established families, raised children, and settled permanently in the UK. Similarly, Nigerians from Africa have found success and built their communities. Meanwhile, the number of Chinese immigrants continues to rise with no sign of slowing down. The British are quick to embrace anything that benefits them. Historically, they have survived by making shrewd decisions. If accepting immigrants leads to economic growth, they are willing to do it, even if it means their cities become filled with foreigners. London has a population of approximately 8.9 million people, 40% of whom, about 3.56 million, are immigrants. It has become a truly immigrant-driven city. Among the 30 major cities in the UK, London alone accounts for 1/5 of the country's GDP. The economy here relies heavily on service industries, with finance, healthcare, insurance, and retail making up 80% of economic activity. In essence, London is a city that has successfully integrated immigrants into its economic framework. The UK has managed to accept immigrants and make it work. But this does not mean that such a system comes without challenges, particularly regarding cultural and identity shifts. Now, what about Japan? The Japanese have a strong sense of order. Rules must be followed, and if someone breaks them, someone else is expected to correct them. However, when the rule breaker is a foreigner, things become complicated. Many Japanese hesitate to speak up. They don't want to cause conflict, they don't want trouble, and they'd rather avoid confrontation. As a result, immigrants who disregard the local rules often go unchecked. The UK, on the other hand, is different. The British are good at enforcing their rules. They make it clear what must be followed, and as long as immigrants respect those boundaries, they are free to live as they please. This is a key difference between how Japan and the UK handle immigration. So, what path will Japan take? Will it accept immigrants to revitalize its economy? Or will it try to rebuild using only its domestic workforce? The country seems to be leaning toward the former, at least on the surface, with slogans promoting globalization and diversity. But deep down, many probably prefer the latter option. Japan stands at a crossroads, forced to decide how to handle immigration in the face of economic challenges. However, given the current situation, it seems unlikely that Japan will embrace large-scale immigration anytime soon. History moves at its own pace, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. Whatever path Japan chooses, it may take more time before we see a clear answer.